Welcome to Lodi High School, home of the Lodi Blue Devils, where driving your tractor to school is considered a holiday. This may seem like your ordinary small-town high school, but you would be surprised who you meet.
You hear that little voice in your head, listen to that voice. And if you have any questions about what you're cutting or anything like that.
This is Mr. Laurent Soucie, the tech ed teacher here in Lodi. He has been teaching Lodi for over 12 years, but he always hasn't been a teacher, and for that story, we have to go back. Born in 1953 to Joanne and Donald Soucie, Laurent grew up in the Big Apple of Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
And there were 6 of us. There were 3 boys and 3 girls in our family. I have an older sister, Denise, who was a year and a half older, and she was always kind of the common sense person. I was pretty much the one that would get in the fights with kids. The rock fights in the park always comes to mind because I would always be the target all the time, and my parents were constantly taking me to Johnson Emergency Hospital, where they knew me on a first name basis there, and they're always stitching my head up all the time. My dad used to get so angry he'd have to take me.
Laurent attended Milwaukee-Pulaski High School and was extremely involved with sports, music, and the arts.
I started baseball right away, so that was my first sport, but I couldn't wait for football, and I made the varsity my first year there, and I couldn't wait for wrestling. Wrestling was what I was really excited about.
He had an outstanding high school wrestling career at Pulaski, and after graduating in 1971, he decided to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison to see if he could continue in his wrestling success.
I was recruited there for wrestling, and I went there for wrestling.
Yeah.
I majored in wrestling. I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be. I thought I should have been a national champ, an NCAA champ. I ended up 3rd. I lost to a guy I had beaten like 3 or 4 times. I won the Big Tens. I was named East All-American team my junior year in college. At one time, I think I was ranked 5th in the career overall record.
After his senior year at the University of Wisconsin, he decided it may be time to hang it up. But after all was said and done, he decided to give it one last shot.
They talked me into going up a weight class, not cutting so much weight. So when I went up a weight class and they said, we'll train you, we'll do this, my career took off. And then I started winning big tournaments, or at least I was in the money. I was placing in the top 3.
In 1976, Laurent attended the Olympic trials to qualify to be in the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. Unfortunately, he lost to 1972 Olympic champion Ben Peterson, but was able to qualify as an alternate for the U.S. wrestling team and attend the Olympics in Montreal. While in Montreal, he talked to professional wrestling great Vern Gagne about possibly joining the AWA, one of the premier professional wrestling leagues at the time.
We were standing in a line. I was with my parents, and we were in the village, and we were talking, and I thought, no, I'm not interested in this. I was thinking I want to keep pursuing wrestling. Some years later, I was working as a substitute teacher in Milwaukee Public Schools. I was working nights at Freighter Malting Company, making malt for beer. And Brad Reingans, like a brother, called and said, quit fooling around. Get up here. Come up to Minneapolis. With the AWA, we'll get you trained. We'll get you in the ring. What happened is I happened to be visiting and being introduced to the wrestlers, and Tito Santana gets hurt. He can't work. He can't wrestle. So they said, get his boots on, get his tights, get out there. And they put me in the ring.
And so, Luscious Laurent was born, and his professional wrestling career began. Several months after joining the AWA, he transferred over to the WWF to gain more experience as a wrestler.
I got to meet some tremendous people. The Crusher was a good friend of mine. Baron von Raschke was a good friend of mine. Andre the Giant would pop in. Jesse the Body, who was just a great guy, Jesse Ventura, Ric Flair and Roddy Piper, all those guys I worked with down south in North Carolina. We did the whole southeastern area. But it was fun. It was fast-paced and it was crazy. It was like being a rock star out there. You don't have a moment's rest. People want your autograph. They want to come right up in the middle of your meal. They won't even let you buy your meals. They pay for them and everything. It was sensational.
But the rock star lifestyle is not for everyone, and in July of 1982, luscious Laurent called it quits.
I looked around and I saw a lot of the older guys, and I'm thinking, this is a rough life, and I don't think I'd want to do this for a long time. And I wanted to have kids, and I wanted to have a nice, decent home and stuff like that. And I wanted to have some stability in my life, not living out of a suitcase, because I had done that as an amateur for so many years, living in training camps and traveling and going to other countries. And I wanted to have something a little more solid.
On July 28th, Laurent married his wife Wendy and began to start a family of his own, and in 1992 moved to Lodi, where he has lived since. Have you ever regret not staying with AWA or sticking with wrestling?
No, I don't.
After all is said and done, Laurent Soucie loves where his life is now, teaching students, playing guitar, and has even attempted running for state assembly. So next time you think your small town is dumb, talk to some people around town and see who you can find.